What's up, everybody? Welcome to AEW Uncensored. Here with my man, Alan. We are the Bridge and Tunnel Connect. We are Null and Hash. And we are the beasts from the East.
With the least
research. So, as always, like, share, subscribe. Hit the thumb, hit the bell. All that algorithm shit. The reason we're doing a late show today was my niece's birthday party was today. So I apologize in advance. However, while I was there, I took my brother's phone. I liked, shared, subscribed, hit the bell on his
what
phone.
About your niece's phone?
Well, she don't have a phone yet. She's only 4.
Well, she needs to get a phone so you can hit like, share, and subscribe, man. What the hell?
I know kids nowadays, they do start out those so young. But so I did that. So we got another subscriber off that.
Awesome.
But as always, uncensoredalliance.com. Catch everything we do there. All the links to our social media, Twitter at AEW Uncensored, one word. Our email is also on our website, which is AEW Uncensored Podcast at gmail.com. Send us emails, love mail, hate mail, questions, comments, anything you want to discuss or have read out loud on the podcast. Facebook, you catch us AEW Uncensored Podcast. Put it in the search bar. We have a page and a group. They'll both pop up. Like the page, join the group. We'd love to have you. As far as the audio version of this, the podcast, catch us on all third-party podcast apps. We are on Google Podcast. We are on Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, and of course we are on iTunes, which please rate and subscribe on there. That is huge for the algorithms. That is the largest podcast platform on the planet, and that helps us get spread out there to new listeners. So if you love us, help us spread the word. As always, Skype, you want to join the show, catch the link in the description. It's on the description in the live show, which is 99.9% of the time, Sundays at 3:05 Eastern U.S. time. So you check that in the description. Send us a message on Skype, all right? And if you're not listening live on YouTube, it should be in the description for the podcast version, the audio version. So you can get the link there as well. Send us a Skype message. We'll add you to our listener chat, and from there, again, you could come on the show live with us. We really want to have some good interaction with people who listen. So that's pretty much it on the promotional side. Shout out already to Kenny. Kenny, thanks for joining us. I know we're later than usual, but we appreciate your support and love as always. And Alan, you had something quick too.
Yeah, so we're having another show as well. Speaking of nighttime shows, we're doing a nighttime show on Friday evening, November 6th, 10 p.m. Eastern till 11 Eastern. We're going to be having what we call the hot tag. It's going to be us basically discussing the pay-per-view that's going to be on the 7th. I'm not going to be available on the 7th, so we're having the hot tag the Friday night before the Saturday pay-per-view. So that'll be, again, 10 p.m. Eastern, same place as Bill mentioned.
That's right. So we'll, with that, we'll just predictions and preview of the pay-per-view. So, yeah, just a little fun. Hopefully you guys can join us and get in on a conversation. Should be probably no more than an hour. I think our first hot tag was about 45 minutes. So, quick discussion, just quick look into what we're thinking, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. So, all right, man. I mean, let's get into it. You got some miscellaneous shit we discussed talking about. So let's get to it.
So we got some interesting ratings news. So for the last show, according to Brian Alvarez, NXT scored 876,000. AEW scored 781,000. And I attribute that to the shit show that AEW's been for the last however many weeks. So that's me.
So now, we don't really do ratings here. I mean,
but this is significant.
Right. There's a reason that we're talking about this. I kind of want to bring it up. We don't do ratings because for us, it's just like, you get into that game, it just becomes a tit for tat or whatever. Ratings are great. I'm happy that AEW 99% of the time takes the cake. But you know, for me, this is more telling. You know, some people say, "Oh, well, they had the Halloween Havoc theme." Well, NXT, that is, had the Halloween Havoc theme. Well, listen, I got to be realistic here. I really feel like AEW has shit the bed for the past month at least. They were doing very well. They'd have an off show. Listen, and again, you can't have 52 weeks of perfect TV. I understand that. I'm not that guy that's unpleasable. You know, so that's not really where what I want to get at. But I want to say, like, realistically, we're not getting a show that we should be getting. You know, we like they could do so much better. They have done so much better, and they're just, for some reason, the last month has been awful, and I don't understand what the issue is. I don't know where the hiccup is, why, but I just feel like, you know, they would have a rough show, then they'd have, you know, good shows, and then they'd randomly have another rough show. But I really feel like pretty much every show for the past month has been pretty rough, man, in general. They've had some shining spots in the shows, of course, they always do, but my personal taste and thoughts, I mean, I feel like they've been missing more than they've been hitting for the past month or so.
You do you want to have an early occurrence of the Flames? Because I think you're being very kind to say it's been the last month. I think that outside of a show or two, it's been well more than the last month. I spend every weekend shitting on this product. I shit on the storytelling. I shit on the production. I shit on the stupid decisions, the things they're allowing Jericho to do, the lack of continuity, the fact that they let the Dark Order rise for like 1 second and then get flushed down the toilet. I think that they were, and you and I argued offline about this. I understand your opinion of NXT because you loop NXT in with WWE, and I keep saying you can't do that. NXT is a different product. NXT is a shadow of its former self. It is a shit shadow of its former self. That's because Vince has allowed himself to get his hands into it. And I will still say that the shit shadow of NXT is still better by leaps and bounds than the current AEW product, man. You can call me Cornette Jr. You can call me whatever you want. This is me being real. I think those ratings speak volumes as to what kind of product this has been. And it's been for well more than a month.
They don't realize I've been calling you Cornette Jr. all week. Have you been watching NXT regularly?
You know what? I've been watching pockets of it, and that's how I only watch it off on the side because I do try to get an idea. I want to know what the comparison is. I think that for our purposes, for this podcast that we do, it helps to know the competition. So I don't watch Raw or SmackDown at all, really, outside of every now and then I'll watch a clip depending on what, you know, folks are saying that sounds interesting. But for NXT, I'm trying to keep a peripheral vision on. And yeah, it is better. It's not great. It definitely has taken a nosedive from what it used to be, but it's still better in terms of performances, in terms of production values, in terms of everything else. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like, you know, AEW had a lot of promise when it first started up. I felt that it hit its peak where I thought it was going to, and you remember I was talking about this, I thought it was going to hit a moment of greatness with that show that ended with Dark Order pulling their NWO. And we both were very excited by that.
Very excited.
And it was literally the very next show where it's just like, all right, nothing's really come of this. And then Dark Order continued to lose. And then you had the constant still, you know, the production, the continuity issues that we've been talking about. But then it really hit its shit creek with this Jericho, MJF, Broadway bombastic shit show, which we have another miscellaneous item about, which had me cracking up when I read about this. I mean, if you want, we could lead into that because this actually leads right into that. You know, Jericho had me dying laughing. He went on Instagram and I believe on Twitter as well.
Should I pull your flames down yet?
Yeah, you can pull them down. I mean,
all right.
You may want to just leave them up all podcasts, every podcast. I will have,
until Alan's happy, the flames stay on.
Flames. But yeah, Jericho goes hashtag Le Dinner Debonair playset. Would you pick this up if it was available? I totally would. He copies in Jazzwares, Wicked Cool Toys, AEW, and Jeremy Com. You know, this is it almost just reeks of desperation that he just wants to shove this idea of his down everybody's throat, and now he wants to make a toy of it. And it's just like he thinks he's God's gift to storytelling. I just don't get it. I think that he is well past his prime in general, but particularly with his ideas. And now he wants this to be a playset. I think it's laughable.
Yeah, I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, he's trying, like, he's had some successful segments that even to me were like, but they were successful. And now he's trying to make this one that was very, very subpar in the ratings. And now he's trying to boost this one up himself and make people believe it was good when it really was trash. And, I am with you in terms of, like, he has some good ideas and he does some good things in terms of putting guys over, but I mean, realistically, he's constantly doing these weird segments, the town hall, the presidential style debate. Now let's be real, I'm guessing they're all his ideas, and there's, he's just getting them pushed through by Tony Khan. But realistically, what's up, Alex? Shout out to you, brother, in the chat. But realistically, I'm feeling like those segments are. It's just like, how many more of that style segment can you do? Number one. Number two, they're starting to run their course. Number three, I think he's getting bit by the fucking goof bug and the clown bug and the comedy bug to the point where that's all he seems to be doing at this point. I was good with the him and Moxley segment with the champagne in the ring. I was good with that. I was good with, celebrating Jericho, his dad under the box, and, they had the band come out, and it turned out it was SCU attacked them, or what, I believe it was SCU attacked them. I was good with that stuff. However, it's starting to get to a point where Town Hall, the debate was pretty good, I'll be honest with you. The Town Hall had some moments, but it's just like, okay, it's wrestling to me. It's not a fucking variety show. And unfortunately, AEW is starting to hit a moment where it's starting to turn into a fucking variety show, and I want to watch wrestling. I don't want a variety show. I want wrestling, okay? The fucking, like I said, that shit jumped the shark with the dinner debonair, whatever the fuck it was called. It jumped the shark with me. It almost like had me double thinking, thinking about leaving wrestling again for another 20 years. You know what I mean? It's kind of fucking sad, but I'm just Yo, Kenny says, "Hey Alex, welcome to the Jim Cornette Experience podcast." Yeah. Oh my God! That was great.
I think we've said this before. Tony Khan has given Chris Jericho a blank check to do
too much rope.
Too much rope to do whatever he wants.
He's starting to hang himself.
And Jericho.
He's kicking. His legs are kicking right now.
Oh yeah. Jericho is. The whole thing about Chris Jericho, what's been happening for the last 15 years, is his moniker is he always reinvents himself.
Right.
And the ironic thing about that is that instead of now reinventing himself, he is recycling poor decisions that he's turning into different things that all are just silly. So for those who don't know, and Bill knows this, I'm a big fan of Botchamania. Any self-respecting wrestling fan is going to be a fan of Botchamania. And they just had their latest video today, and sure enough, they were having a lot of fun with this Le Debonair dinner experience. And it was just the different jokes that came out, the different endings they came up with for it. And even watching it and watching them make fun of it, just seeing the parts of the skit again were making me cringe. watching it in the context of something that's making fun of it still made me cringe. And you're right, it is turning into a variety hour. Whether or not you want to say this or not, it is turning into a WWE light, in my opinion. It's not focusing on wrestling. It's just it's there, and I'm with you. It's like for me, I feel like I'm watching it at this point because, well, I enjoy this podcast and I enjoy working with you. And I almost feel like it's like if you're doing an assignment, you're doing an assignment that you may not necessarily want to do, but you need to complete your assignment for whatever you need to complete it for either for class or for work or for whatever. And that's what it feels like to me now watching this program, watching Dark, which I don't even know why I watch Dark anymore, except to, again, know a bit of what's going on with it for this show. And then
a couple things on Dark have been worthwhile.
A couple things are worthwhile, yes, but not enough to make it worth it. There needs to be a specific percentage of product to make it worth watching. And if a product is, at least for me, my scoring is product is 75% good, 25% bad. That's enough for me to stay invested in it. I do not think either of these programs are anywhere near 75% at this point. It's just.
Can I ask you this? You watch Botchamania a lot. I seen one and I skimmed through it, and I really felt like with Botchamania week to week, how much of it is AEW and how much of it is WWF?
I'd say it's about 50-50. They try to cover, and they cover Japanese wrestling too and other promotions as well.
Okay.
They cover everything, but I would say that if you're looking at AEW and WWF, it's probably 50-50. They even have their own segment where they make fun of Taz with some of the stupid things he says and the stupid things Jim Ross says. It's probably 50-50. There are some weeks where it does feel a little bit more heavily AEW and some weeks where it's a little more heavily WWE. Now, it also depends on if there was a major event. So if, let's say, WWE just had a pay-per-view, they're probably going to have more on WWE because of that pay-per-view. I imagine whatever their edition's going to be after November 7th is going to be a lot more AEW because they'll be having a lot of clips and scenes from that pay-per-view.
Let me put it to you this way then. In terms of actual botches in the shows, where does it lean more? Does it lean any which way more than the other?
I'd say it's about 50-50 with how they present it.
Okay, because I'm only asking because the one I watched, I think I kind of skimmed through it pretty much. It was a while ago, so it was probably over a month or two ago. So I really was like, Jesus Christ, every single segment they're showing is AEW.
Because
you know what I mean?
And it's been for the last however long. It's true.
I was just like, I was a little disappointed. I was like, God, man. I mean, I know there's some shit.
No,
but
for the most part, they honestly are equal opportunity, I would say.
Okay. Now let's look at the 600-pound elephant in the corner there. Like Kenny said, welcome to the Jim Cornette Experience podcast. Listen, we've said it a lot. We'll say it again. I'll say it a lot, and I'll say it again. I love AEW. AEW brought me back to wrestling. It's the reason I'm watching wrestling weekly. I will criticize shit when it's awful, and I will say when things are great, and I will support it regardless. You know what I mean? There is a point. I gotta be honest. I mean, there is a point. I mean, probably, I won't say there is, but I'm sure there's probably a point that if 10 years from now it's like literally the same constant bullshit, who knows how I feel. But but I'm always gonna shoot it straight. I mean, Alan's gonna shoot it straight, and my thing is, okay, I joke, I call him Cornette Jr. I don't really mean it, because the reality of Cornette is this guy that, he goes so hard on Kenny Omega. He just hates the guy. Shoot, work, whatever it is, he hates the guy.
He hates the Bucks.
He hates the Bucks, and he'll just rail on them no matter what. Even when they do good, he can't see it to fucking say they did good. We're not them guys. No. We won't do that. I'll shit on what they do. I have no personal issue with the Bucks. Lately I haven't been happy with how they performed. There were some things they've done well. I'm gonna shit on them again today. Kenny Omega, he did some good things. He's done some bad things. But I'm actually a Kenny Omega fan more so. But there's things that we're never gonna be like, we'll shit on Brandy, but I don't hate Brandy, and I would
No,
never,
we don't have anything
you
personal
know,
against anybody here. I think the big difference with
right.
Cornette is basically a guy who cannot get out of 1983. He likes what he
I,
likes. He wants his one style. He does not agree with anything past his one style. And so even if he doesn't watch the product, he's going to shit. And that's what bothers me about Cornette. Cornette actually has been forced to watch the product because his partner's basically saying to him, look, you're shitting on this every week. At least watch it so that you can describe what you're shitting on. And he's describing it as torture to have to do it. He didn't even care. He'll shit on it. We're trying to be honest. We don't have any personal stake in the game against anybody whatsoever in AEW or WWE or anything, but we're commenting on what we're seeing as wrestling fans. It's the bottom.
Right, and this is obviously our opinions,
Yeah.
how we feel about wrestling. So even me and Alan disagree on things that are going. I don't think it's as dire as he's saying, but I do feel it's been a rough month personally. I think it's been, less bullshit than good. But in terms of being like that with Jim Cornette, it's not really. I try not to do that. I try to be more, you know. I mean, just like I say, you're not really somebody's friend if you're just gonna bullshit them. You know what I mean? You got to give them the criticism to get better. If your friend's acting like a fucking asshole, he's always gonna be an asshole unless you call him on it and you be honest with him. So AEW's acting like an asshole a lot lately. So we'll call him on it. It feels like a lot more than than in the past. But I mean, we also are a little upset with some things they did, and that's just that's us wanting things booked a certain way that don't get booked a certain way, so we shit on it. I mean, it's gonna happen when you're giving your opinions. But yeah, I mean, I don't. I hope that we don't turn into that, in the general scheme of things.
No, because again, I think we are. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. We are reacting to what we are seeing as opposed to having any kind of a personal bias. Cornette, for as much as he is a great mind in many respects, he is not in many others. And much of what he does is based on emotion and based on personal bias. He's always been that way. And as much as I appreciate him, wanting things to be the way they were back in Mid-Atlantic and NWA and such, and I love that era as well, I feel that he is a lot more, it is more personal, and it's a lot more, it's hurtful more about how he does his criticisms, and he means to be.
More malice.
Thank you.
There's
malice.
There's malice.
The word. Malice is the perfect word.
Hey,
exactly.
Listen, I got them big words.
I'm telling you, that was great for today. No, he reacts with malice. Exactly. We don't. Anything that I'm saying, look, I am in the business of storytelling, okay? That's what I do in real life. I'm in the business of storytelling. I'm in the business of continuity and good product and overall presentation and performance, all right? I take it, I guess, somewhat personally if I'm watching a program that's supposed to be making money doing that, and they're not living up to their end of the deal. And I don't think AEW is living up to what they're supposed to be an alternative to WWE. Because, yeah, I agree. Today's WWE, ironically, outside of Roman Reigns, I never thought I'd ever say that. They finally got him right. Outside of him, the product is god-awful. And that's mostly because of Vince. And, AEW and Tony Khan were supposed to be the alternative to that. And they are not, like you said, for the past month, I'll say for much longer, at the moment, they're indistinguishable. To me, that's my personal opinion. I find them indistinguishable. So.
Yeah, listen, I'm good with, I'm good with thinking NWA and Mid-Atlantic and Mid-South and WCW early to, little later 90s. I prefer a lot less of that WWF. What was that? What is that era? 97?
The Attitude Era.
Oh, Attitude Era. Way less of that bullshit. Because honestly, that was just like them trying to fucking grab whatever ratings they could away from WCW.
Yeah, they were reacting to NWO. That's what that was. They were reacting to NWO.
Where WCW was way more, had way more good shit going on that wasn't so much just tits and ass,
Right.
and over the top bullshit. But I'd like a little more of that stuff. And I understand the product changes, so I'm good with change to a point. Like I said, I'm good with some of the goose shit. I think Silver's amazing.
Oh, Silver's great.
But I don't need Fun Size there doing his stupid choke slam off of a fucking step stool with, the Luchasaurus doing the choke slam for him. I don't need that type of
And
stuff.
by the way, speaking of Silver, I did not have this on my list today, but I think it is worth mentioning. Brandy has that show on YouTube, A Shot of Brandy, and she actually did have the episode with John Silver, and it is worth watching. He's very entertaining. They do talk about some real stuff in terms of his interest and everything, and they make some drinks, they make some chicken, and Anna Jay gets involved at the end. It's a lot. It's funny. It's silly, but it's entertaining. See, there is a way to be silly but still be entertaining, and that segment, that show with John Silver and Anna Jay and Brandy and her bodyguard, that was silly, and I even picked out like a lot of errors in it. You have Anna Jay spraying a can, no spray's coming out, and the guy's just like this, like it's imaginary spray, like it's vaudeville. But it was funny and it was entertaining, and
But that's also not the actual wrestling show.
No, it's not.
It's just a side spin-off.
It's part of AEW. It is AEW can be more than just the show itself. But yeah, I mean, they need to take what works.
They're AEW employees. I don't think it's necessarily AEW.
Sure, that's true. But Silver's great. He's one of the shining spots of AEW now.
He is good. All right, man. I mean, let's get off this. Let's actually. You have a couple. You had some other miscellaneous shit, or was that?
So, everybody was wondering about Thunder Rosa, which obviously we'll talk about that with the shows. But wondering if she's still with NWA, and according to Billy Corgan, she is not a free agent. She's still under contract with NWA through 2021. So through next year, she is going to be part of that company. So there were a lot of theories and a lot of speculation that Thunder Rosa was going to be heading to WWE. And if that's the case, it's not going to happen until after 2021, at least from what Corgan is saying. So important news, for those who were wondering about what her situation is going to be, what her future is going to be. And that if there's still going to be an NWA partnership with AEW, my thinking is you'll see her again for sure.
Yeah, most likely. And that kind of ties in with AEW because she's obviously worked with AEW recently, and Serena Deeb is now the NWA Women's Champion, which we will discuss a little bit coming up. All right, so Kenny, hopefully we keep you around, bro. Hopefully we didn't fucking scare you off, sounding like Jim Cornette, because you are our day one down ass motherfucker.
Yes.
So shout to you. All right, so let's go Dark. Now, something cool on Dark to start off. Anthony Ogogo was on commentary this week for a little bit, for not the whole show, but that's pretty cool because Anthony Ogogo was someone that they had very early on signed him. Now, he is I believe, a silver medalist boxer from Europe who had an eye injury that basically he had to retire from boxing. Now, I guess he's looking to make the jump into wrestling. So they had given him a contract and started, I believe, training him to eventually make his wrestling debut. So that was pretty cool just to see him. I was like, holy shit. I had been kind of thinking, like, when is this guy going to pop up? And that was cool. That was really cool to see him at least on commentary.
Absolutely. No, I agree. It was a nice change of pace too, because I do want to see a little bit more flavor in the commentary for Dark if possible.
Yeah. From that, the next thing I had was the Kingston and Bunny promo. Bunny explains that it was easy to take him for his money, bilk him for all he's got. That's cool and all, but this is like kind of like again, changing direction, but doing it in a lazy way. It's a very weak ending to the story. They randomly just decided to change speeds and try explaining it away, but in a just like in not like a convincing way. You like give me a better story of why why she was trying to bilk him for money, and why she did that and left Butcher and Blade, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a little weird. It just it just wasn't enough for me. So Kenny says just disagree with a lot of that and still think Dynamite is pushing out good shows every week. I'm like 50-50 on the recent shows myself.
And again, I will say this to the ends of the earth, to whoever is enjoying it, more power to you. Different strokes for different folks. Different people will have a threshold for what they find entertaining. I mean, again, some people like boxing, some people hate it. Some people like MMA, some people hate it, and they'll like it or hate it for different reasons. I think that there is a point where something like AEW, if that's what if what you're finding entertaining is what you're seeing, then I'm really happy that there are folks who are enjoying the product.
And I obviously think that it'll flip for me. Obviously they'll flip, they'll come back, they'll be doing some stuff I'm way more on board with, and it's just a preference thing at the moment, and I'm disenfranchised, I guess you could say, at some things, and I feel like they've done some things better, they've done some things worse. I just feel like there's a little loss of focus. That's the main. I'm just beating a dead horse at this point, but that's for me the best way to put it. How I feel is there's a loss of focus, and they're letting the inmates run the asylum a little too much, as to where I think Vince is too heavy-handed. I think TK is becoming a little too light-handed. No?
Yep, for sure.
All right. I just had to fix your little fucking box.
Oh, sorry. My box keeps moving around.
It keeps changing fucking sizes. Goddamn technical issues.
That'd be really funny if when the flames are on, my box just goes like this.
In and out. So then from there, I mean, I don't know how much you got, if you got anything else. Well, let me know what you got at the end. I'll run through mine real quick. And then if there's anything,
sure,
we didn't discuss, you want to discuss, let's do it. So we got Shida versus Hirsch. Now I had seen this obviously yesterday, so I saw Hirsch on Dynamite. Pretty good match. Both look pretty good. It looks like Hirsch took a small stinger in the match at one point. The ref kind of kept checking on her, and Shida kind of like paused for a bit there and kind of looked a little like, what do I do? She might have taken a stinger, I'm guessing, on the neck, but it was a pretty good match. I think Hirsch would be a pretty good signing if they could bring her on in the women's division.
For sure.
Gives you a little extra kick in there, and she looks like she works pretty clean. I will say that another thing that's killing me with wrestling right now is the back and forth forearm spots. It's just too much, man. It's like every women's match they do it. It's like, okay, women, it's your turn. Now we need you to do your back and forth fucking slap and forearms during the match, because it happens every match, every woman. The guys do it too. So, but I'm noticing it heavily in the women's matches. Something that needs to change. Like, be a little more creative.
Yeah.
There's somebody was streaming Piper versus Orndorff from MSG in '85. Piper comes out. They were feuding at the time, heavy, and Piper came out with the band, with the bagpipes, and they hit the ring, bro. They fucking made me feel that. They made me feel that they felt that way about each other. I'm not feeling that a lot in wrestling today, and that's
you're right. I mean, you say what you want about early WWF. I know you and I differ on that. I know you're more of a WCW guy, but the thing that both companies, I think, have in common is that, back then, you would feel it. Like you would really think these two are going to hate we're going to kill each other. They made a lot of money. They put a lot of asses in seats because of the animosity that would happen. Obviously, a lot of it there was more kayfabe back in the day, which helped as well. But no, absolutely, there's very little that you can point to from that era where you did not go in thinking that this was going to be just a whatever fest. And here you're right, that is lacking today in general.
Oh, they were going hard. They were selling like sons of bitches.
They drew a lot of money for that feud too.
listen, it's Piper and Orndorff. Yeah. I mean, WWF or NWA, they were both great. Yep. So, but I just, again, it's been a long time since I watched old wrestling, so it's not like I'll catch clips, and I mean that really just grabbed me. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the entrance, and then I caught them starting out early in the match, the fucking brawl that they start, just I feel like, go back and watch, like, make these guys watch this shit as part of their curriculum or whatever. They have their, I'm sure backstage they're running through matches and they're doing all this and that. Make this part of their curriculum. Like, go watch these old things and see how to sell, see how to make people feel it. And that kind of, after watching that forearm bullshit, after seeing the Piper and Orndorff spot in the beginning, I was like, that's the difference. I don't care. Your forearms don't mean shit to me. You're just trading forearms, and who's tougher? No, Piper and Orndorff just kind of sparked that. Like, let me get that, man. Like, I'd rather see that.
Absolutely.
So then Dustin. So after this, you get QT and Dustin promo about the bunny scheming. QT seems to be setting up Butcher and the Blade versus Dustin and QT. Obviously, he's saying we're number 3. Dustin saying we're number 3, you're number 4. You have to come down to see us if you want to get anywhere. So that's, how it plays out. We'll see. But eventually it's going to happen. I could see that's a better way. I mean, that's a better way of getting that kind of story told that I was talking about just a few minutes ago. But I think on Ali's side and Butcher and Blade's side, they're not doing a good enough description of why. Maybe they should have said, Butcher and Blade wanted to fuck with them, wanted to take them off their game, wanted to kind of split them up and make them off balance. You know what I mean? And they really didn't. They didn't use that. They didn't use that time to really sell it like that. So they kind of it's like they're kind of doing well on the QT and Dustin side, but they're not doing as well on the Butcher Blade side. Why she would even do it? They're just kind of like, I did it for money, instead of being like, we were trying to, keep them off kilter. They were very hot at the time. We wanted to disrupt them and try to take their spot, which would have been a way better booking scenario, if I'd say so myself.
For sure.
Listen, Bob Backlund, my ass. Pat myself on the back. Or was that Horowitz? No, Horowitz, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm jobber ass Bill with the fucking Horowitz. Sorry. So then we go Avalon and Cutler. Now, fucking Avalon and Cutler have been my bright spots. They may have edited this match. I mean, I know it's something small, but I had a pet peeve the one time Cutler came out and he left his shit on the stage and nobody cleared it away. That was like a match or two ago with them too. And this time it was some stuff there, and there was maybe 30 seconds, and they cut away. They were in the ring. The cuts didn't catch the ramp, and then 30 seconds later, you see the ramp again. It's empty. So I'm wondering if they maybe had edited this match or redone the match or something. It's just something small, stupid I caught that I don't usually catch little things like that. But I'm wondering, or somebody ran out in that 30 seconds, scooped it up and ran out real quick. But just something stupid I caught. And I'm just happy it wasn't there the whole match because, that kind of fucking annoyed me last time. Pretty good match. Okay, the ending was kind of dumb to me. I liked the dice spot. I love the whatever I don't know what you call them, but all the die that they had out. I mean, those are nice, sharp, hard corners, So it kind of played that whole Lego style and even thumbtack style. So I like that. And at first I thought the book spot was gonna be stupid, but I get it because like you got a pile of books and you land on them. That's some heavy corners, and they're gonna jab you in the back or the bones or the muscles or whatnot. So I was cool with that. And, plays into both of their gimmicks. As far as the Bucks coming out with the support, this is where I kind of lost it in terms of it kind of got dumb for me. Matt with his fake fucking limping. He's so bad at it.
He's terrible
at
selling that, man.
His acting is fucking god awful. So they limp out, and they come out, they give Cutler the strength to win with his, now he's like, oh shit, he got a little boost, he gets the win. I swore this was going to be a double KO personally, which I would have loved. I know it was no count out, no DQ, but you could have did a double knockout count out, no count out outside the ring. You could have played it off like that. So I felt there was one more match, and I know it almost goes against how I'm talking about this stuff. It's almost like that's so stretched and almost goofy, but it's not really. Like for me, like I would have been fine with that one extra stretched match for this feud because this feud has been so entertaining and they've both done so well in the feud and wrestle well, and they both cut pretty good promos on the feud. So, while stretching it with the double KO to one more match and finally having a winner would have maybe been too much. I still think maybe you'd go with the double KO there, and then you have a finality with a winner at the next match. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I like that. I think that would have been a lot more entertaining for sure. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah. Okay. And okay. So when Nick here's the thing I say about Matt. When Nick acts normal, he's fine. But when Matt acts normal, he's not that. He doesn't. I don't know. I'm not gelling with it. But Nick's normal also isn't in an alpha way. He's a lot more beta.
Yes.
But he doesn't sound like a dummy, or he doesn't come off weird.
Yes.
But he does come off a little beta. Like he's very, I'll talk about it later. Was this the one where they did the double interview with FTR?
Yeah.
Or was that the week before? That's this week, right?
I think that was this week. I feel like the darks bleed together for me, but I believe that was this week.
No. On
the Dynamite. Sorry.
Yes, Dynamite. Yes. Right. All right. So anyway, I think we'll get to it, but just his body language, kind of comes off beta, where you want him to come off alpha. And when he speaks and he talks normal, he comes off like he could be alpha, but his body language is beta. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Which you don't want that in your wrestler, man. You want the alpha, His normal tone is fine. He comes off like he comes off better as nonchalantly arrogant than Matt. Matt tries too hard to be nonchalantly arrogant.
Yeah, Matt is like somebody who honestly is trying to learn how to act. It's like he's a former construction worker or something. All due respect to construction workers, and all of a sudden you throw him into an acting class, and it's week 23, and he still can't figure it out. And that's honestly where I think he is. And it brings down the team. It brings down the whole idea of the Bucks. It just brings them down.
Yeah. So, do you got anything on the match itself you want to?
No, I enjoyed it. I agree with you. I love Cutler and Avalon. I think they work tremendously well together. Outside of the end, I agree. I enjoyed the match itself. I like the idea of the books and such, and the die. It's like it is better than just using thumbtacks. It's actually more creative. And again, that's an example of being creative, using something creative where it's like you think to yourself, "Ooh, yeah, that's gonna hurt."
Yeah.
So I like it. I like that they're getting creative in that regard. So that was probably, I would say, my favorite match of the night. The only other match I wanted to bring up that you didn't touch on was the Anna Jay Catalina Perez match. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I think, again, Anna Jay is continuing to improve, which is great. It's great. I actually thought it was pretty.
I loved her.
Yeah.
I loved her her new gear.
Yeah.
Looked fucking awesome.
Gear was awesome.
I love the cut. The color was awesome.
Agreed.
You know, that light gray or whatever, that like mid gray. You know.
And the only thing that really marred that match was, Brandy was on commentary, complaining the whole time. You were in my house. You were in my house. Stay out of my house.
Yeah, that's another thing where it's like, separate your shot of Brandy where it's not Eddie says the home cooking is showing out, Alan.
The home cooking?
That's funny.
Oh, crap.
So,
really? Am I getting fat? I am getting fat, I think. Shit.
No, it's probably the way I stretch your...
No, he is right, though. I gained weight since I've been back in New York. There's no doubt about that.
No, but your box keeps changing. So every time I got to resize it, you're either like too skinny or too fat.
No, believe me, though, I am. It's bad.
You look squished, because it takes your aspect ratio out. It changes your aspect ratio. It's nothing personal, but I got to do this on the fly and try to think while I'm talking.
I'm agreeing with Eddie. I have gained weight.
All right. So, that's kind of the thing too. Is like separate. I didn't watch the match. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't really pay attention to anything from Brandy. It's like your shot of Brandy is shot of Brandy. Your AEW stars doing your thing, and they're allowing you to, but don't bleed it into the actual show.
Yeah.
You could bring the show into your side project as part of the goof, like they do with Dark Order and being the elite. But
you know what? I will forgive it this time though, because it's not like it was just okay. She has a shot of Brandy. Okay, she has her guest on, and that's the end of it. This was something where they actually did bring in Anna Jay, and they kind of brought the storyline in. So I am actually okay with them referring to it, because the fact that
they had the security guard and they made it like, oh,
so I'm all right.
I get it.
I'm all right with it.
I get it, but I just prefer they just keep all this shit separate.
Right.
So, all right. So we get Scorpio Sky. Marvez is looking for Scorpio Sky. Oh, there you are. Scorpio runs up to his dressing room. He goes, yeah, come on in. I'll shoot the shit with you for a bit. He walks in. The room is trash. And on the mirror, the word thief is painted on it. Now, that refers to Shawn Spears and the "you stole a moment from me." I fucking love it.
Great.
I love it. That's so fucking good. I'm really, really enjoying this Scorpio Sky and Shawn Spears. That Shawn Spears "you stole a moment" promo for me was fucking incredible. It fucking hits, and like it just makes you like, fuck, man. He stole a moment from him, and he's not happy about it. He wants that moment back, and now there's going to be retribution. Then he puts thief on the mirror. I mean, that really just hits with me, and they're going to be on Dynamite next week on the Go Home show, which is fucking awesome, and they're going to have their match. Hopefully that's not where it ends. Hopefully this continues. I want Sky pushed a little more. I want Shawn Spears pushed a little more. Shawn Spears has showed me a lot on Dark. His promo work and some of the stuff he's doing has been solid as hell, and I'm glad they're going to get on Dynamite some more. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really thought that was great, that little segment there with the word thief on the mirror. That really like, boom. It just instantly took me back to that promo from Shawn Spears. I knew exactly what it meant. So that was a great part in this. So, okay, after a match, I don't know what match it was. Jay comes out. Archer attacks the wrestlers that wrestled. I think Sonny Kiss and somebody else.
Yeah, Sonny Kiss was facing Aaron Solo, and this is the worst part of the show for me because Sonny Kiss won the match. It's a short match at that.
Let's skip the match. Let's get to the end. We'll talk Jake because this is, Jake and Archer come out. Archer attacks both the wrestlers. So I guess Solo and Kiss. Jake comes in, cuts his promo, and then gives Archer the mic. Now, Archer has his moment to say some stuff. Now, I've been critical of Archer in the past. Not super critical in terms of his promo, but I felt like his words were there, and they were good. But I felt like he was kind of rushing for a guy that's so, he's supposed to be a monster heel. He rushed it. Like he was on fucking speed, But this time he took his time. he made you feel it, and like Jake always says, make them lean in to hear you. He did the low whisper, the low
Yep.
talk, and it fucking was amazing. I fucking loved it. I thought Archer hit it out of the park. Not only what he was saying, but his delivery on that promo. That's what you want to see from Archer. And personally, I feel that he probably looked at some of these things and said, or somebody brought it to his attention, slow it down, be more deliberate. Maybe even Jake. And I feel like that's what you want to see when you see someone rushing things that sound like good promos, but they're rushed. And then later on, 2, 3, 4 promos down the line, you go, oh, they got it. They understand where they fucked up and they fixed it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's the same in ring work and stuff like that. And, you know, we've seen it. We've seen it with a lot of these guys, you know, especially some of these indie workers that do indie shit. And you see they've kind of slowly stopped doing as much of the indie crap, you know. But I really enjoyed that promo. And I loved how he did the Jake Roberts whisper, making you like lean in, like, what is he saying? You know, that Jake always said that, right? I always whisper because force them to listen to you. Make them lean in and have to listen to what you're saying, you know?
Absolutely.
Fucking loved it. I thought that was one of those shining spots on Dark. So then Darby has a match. I think he was the last match. After that, Team Taz attacks him. Hobbs makes a save. So I still feel like there's room for Hobbs to turn. Right now, they're showing Hobbs as the baby face. They might, because Taz keeps mentioning we want an answer. They might be pushing this until they get Darby in a match with, say, Cage or Starks, and Darby's about to take the match, and maybe Will Hobbs turns on him. I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm kind of leaning that way. I feel Hobbs may turn heel. I don't know if you have that vibe or what, but I don't know.
I wasn't honestly thinking that until you just mentioned that.
Okay.
It would be a nice little twist if they did it, but I don't know. I'm trying to picture Hobbs as a heel at the moment. And it's pretty hard, you know.
That's the point.
Maybe that's the point,
right?
To really have that really big twist, because you're not really seeing him as a heel, and if you could pull it off, then great.
Yeah, because remember what I said a while back, probably like 4 or 5 episodes back, where he could be that perpetual babyface. You know what I mean? That can get over. Maybe not champion, but higher upper mid card. You know. Right. So who knows? Just kind of quick thoughts. You know, in terms of possibly where that storyline could be going.
He has the potential to be a monster heel if they use him the right way for that.
Yes. Now, in terms of the show, head to toe, anything I missed that you wanted to mention?
No, I think we touched on everything that was significant.
Let's get on to this
Dynamite
bookend of disaster that was bookended by some good stuff. All right, let's calm the shittiness of it down. We'll run through it. We'll try not to be too cornette on it. All right, so the beginning, you got MJF and Wardlow. I don't know who was interviewing him. Do you know? Dasha. Okay.
How could you forget Dasha?
I know. I love Dasha. So obviously Wardlow's in the title tournament. MJF says, you got a contract with me, so anything you win is mine. Look, you know, it's almost like Ted DiBiase, Andre the Giant-esque, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I had a little vibe there. Sammy comes in, and, you know, they've been pushing this Sammy beef with MJF. I feel it's going to lead somewhere with the whole Inner Circle thing, but, God, you know I love Sammy. Sammy's like my guy. Bro, his acting is fucking awful. I mean, he's another one that's super bad at acting. He's got to.
He used to be funny. I thought he used to be great. I feel like this elongated feud with Matt Hardy has like rubbed some bloom off the rose. Honestly, I thought he was much better a while back, like before his suspension. You know.
Here's my thing. okay, the Hardy shit is dark, right? And he's doing his dark shit, and he's pretty decent at it. It's going pretty well, not bad. But then he comes in and does this quirky shit with MJF. It's almost like, dude, what are you? Are you being an arrogant cocky heel, or a goofy arrogant cocky heel? You know what I mean? I want you doing a little more to Matt Hardy shit, promo wise, than I want you doing the MJF, goofy shit. And he's not the best at emoting himself in that cocky heel way. He is at times. Some of his he's actually better at it physically than he is verbally, if that makes sense. Like, I love a lot of the arrogant shit he does while he's in ring, while he's with Jericho, while he's walking to the ring, but verbally he's not good at emoting it. Maybe you agree or disagree with that. But again,
it's a lack, and again, it's a lack of consistency with his character.
Let's be real; it's a lack of time to do it as well.
Yeah, and he's kind of being shoehorned into this thing because, like, he's got this feud going on with Hardy, but he's the odd man out who MJF has decided to target in the inner circle, and the whole story with the jacket was silly to begin with. So you already had a silly component to this story.
I think there's a story there, though. I think that's going to come out.
But it is he needs to he needs to find a better balance with it, I think. But
Kenny says, "How dare Sammy not believe MJF is trustworthy? All he's doing is wanting to make the inner circle relevant again." and of course his MJF 2021. So all right. So then we get I think Sammy, like the same with Archer. It's like, I think Sammy will pick it up, but I just was like, like a little bit like, fuck, man. Like, I was hoping for a little bit better from him in that spot, because I love Sammy. He's one of my top guys in AEW. So all right, so then we get to Wardlow versus Hangman, and man, what more did you expect than a fucking awesome match?
It was great. It was a great match to start off the show. It was really, really fantastic.
Oh, such an awesome match. Both of these guys, every time they're in the ring, they put out gems.
Yeah, they're great.
Hangman especially, he's fucking. I gotta say, he's almost flawless in his matches.
Yeah, there's very little that you can complain about with him.
I can't think of many botchamanias that pop out.
No, I have yet to see him at all on Botchamania. So
right. And I wrote here early match of the night for me.
Oh yeah.
You have anything specific in this match that you want to get across?
Not specific, other than to say that, like, in fact, I'm trying to remember. I have to look through my notes, but this might be the match of the night for me, if not one of the top matches of the night for me. They have the capability of, like, headlining an event. I think these two.
No question.
So it was fantastic, and it was expected that Hangman Page would advance to the finals. That was, I think, needless to be said, that was going to take place.
Yeah. What do we got? Oh, Kenny just put something else there. Okay, Kenny says, "What a mentor MJF is. Single-handedly made Wardlow a great performer." That's great. That's fucking great. MJF 2021 again. So, of course, we get a Moxley promo after that. Anything more to say?
No, great promo again. Anytime he speaks.
Of course.
Anytime he speaks, anytime Kingston speaks, they're both very good at what they do in that regard. They make you believe. And again, this is what we were talking about before with, Piper and Orndorff. These two make you believe. And
100%.
It really makes you look forward to seeing them collide. So, yeah, good stuff. And I like that Lance Archer and Jake Roberts were sitting in the crowd when Eddie Kingston was out there talking, so that was interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we get Kingston and Seidel. Now, I had zero interest in this match. Seidel does nothing for me. I heard him talk on Dark, and I was just like, all right, I have no interest. He's actually smaller than Lee Johnson.
He is tiny. He is a tiny guy.
I thought Lee Johnson was kind of small, and I'm like, Lee Johnson, I don't know. Like, he could wrestle, but can I really vibe with him? But he's smaller than Lee Johnson.
Yeah, and if you were to see him in WWE when he was Evan Bourne, he was a tiny guy. He was stocky, but he was a tiny guy.
So I really didn't have interest in this match, and I almost like totally like zoned out of it, but it actually was a good fucking
was
match.
Good.
It was a good match.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
Solid match. I mean, I had no after feeling like I don't have to really, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised, I should say.
Well, again, I mean, it's, I guess, partly surprising, partly not. I mean, they're both good performers. I mean, again, Seidel got off on the wrong foot when he entered this company, but I've seen him perform before when he was in WWE, and he really is a fantastic in-ring performer. I think once he gets over the jitters and once he gets a little bit more ring time here, he's got a lot of potential just from his, not necessarily his promos or anything else like that, but certainly from his ring performance.
Right. Lower card guy, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
I don't know about.
I mean, certainly for your first impression, I certainly understand that from what he's shown so far.
Listen, man, for me, it's like if you can't cut promos.
No, I agree. That's the part he needs to fix.
You can't be like, I can't look at you beyond bottom of the card. Win or lose, I mean bottom of the card.
He's gotta work on that, just like a lot of guys here do.
So Kenny says, watching Matt Seidel on the Chris Van Fleet show podcast, plug, makes me want to root for the guy. Okay. Maybe I'll watch it. I mean, like for me, it was just, I'm not saying in the ring I couldn't get behind him because I probably can. He hasn't done anything that I'm very interested to check out, but I also, it's just the promos he did with Sky.
Right.
It was so bad.
Right.
Like it was bad enough for me to be like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? Like, not fuck him in jet. Just like, I'm good. I don't need to see him, But I don't think he's even signed, honestly. I think he's just working.
Oh, is he not? Okay.
No, I don't believe he's signed. I don't believe he's been signed.
Right.
Maybe Kenny knows more because maybe he said something in that podcast that Kenny mentioned, Chris Van Fleet. So, all right, moving along. We got Excalibur sit down with FTR and Bucks. Okay, so this is what I forgot if it was this past week or the week prior. Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to shit on AEW and the bullshit.
Get the flames.
I don't want to get too. I don't want to go too
deep.
I don't. It's a flammable moment. I just don't want to go too deep. Okay, Kenny says he's not signed yet.
Okay, there you go.
So I don't want to get too deep into this, but I will. There's a couple things to touch on. I kind of touched on one of them earlier. So it's Excalibur's asking FTR some questions, Bucks some questions. FTR gets ticked off because he's asking the Bucks more questions than them, so they storm off. You got the Bucks who now they say if we don't win the tag titles at Full Gear, we will never challenge for the tag titles again. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, motherfucker, you did this 6 months ago. No, I'm sorry, not even saying. You did this the beginning of Dynamite, like the start of the company with fucking Cody.
Yeah. Exactly.
You did this with Cody with the world title. Why the fuck are you rehashing the same bullshit about tag titles now with the Bucks?
And I'm going to wait for it to happen with the TNT title, and I'm going to wait for it to happen with any other titles that they have here. It's going to be a staple of AEW.
Listen, man. What the fuck? Why? Yeah. Kenny, am I wrong here? I know Kenny didn't agree with us a lot of what we were saying. Kenny, am I fucking wrong here? Please, I want to hear your opinion. I respect you guys. Yeah. I want to hear your opinion.
Absolutely.
I think this is fucking stupid. Like, what on earth, again, is this we'll never challenge for the title thing? It's not going to be legitimately, it's legitimately never going to be that all the way through AEW's history. All right. They'll eventually fucking do something if they lose. And same with Cody. Cody's eventually going to go for the world title. But, okay, I get it. The Cody thing. That's cool. You could live with it. I thought it was kind of dumb to begin with, but now you do it with the Bucks a year later?
The same exact story.
The same exact thing. Why? Why? Right?
It's true.
So Kenny says Kenny Omega will come out and challenge Brian Cage, saying if he loses, he will never go for the FTW title again. You son of a bitch, Kenny. You son of a bitch. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know, man. Like, that fucking, the fucking douche chills I got off of that. And I hate that. I even hate that statement, douche chills. I don't even like that. But I think I felt them when I did that.
Just hearing you say it, that's a very chilling expression.
I don't like that expression myself. But I don't know. It quickly came to my brain thinking about this. Maybe that's what it really is then. So we get Matt again at bad at promos. So we get bad Matt promos in this. Nick just sits there, and he looks like a beta, all balled into himself.
Nick was a potted plant.
He just sits there, says nothing. He's got his arms tucked into his body, his head and shoulders leaning forward, like hunched over, his legs together, hands in his lap. Bro, what are we, man? Are we the fucking cocky, arrogant Young Bucks, or are we the Beta Bucks?
I like the Beta Bucks.
The Beta Bucks.
Like that.
I mean, Nick is being Beta Buck, and I think he's the better of the two naturally, talking and such. When we got Matt trying to be Alpha Buck, and he can't even be Alpha Buck, right? Because he looks like a fucking goofball, because he sounds like a goofball, and he emotes like a goofball.
Yeah.
The only thing I love about Matt Jackson, arrogant heel, is the darker tan and the fucking hair down. I love the hair down look. He should wrestle like that. Instead, he puts it back up.
It actually is a very good look for him, and it kind of belays.
Makes him look like more of a badass than he did with.
Exactly.
He looks like fucking. He looks like Beta Buck with his hair.
But then he talks, and it's just like, oh, okay.
right. He fucking disaster. Okay, so all right, so Kenny got back to us here. So Kenny says Bucks are trying to hype up the title match. It's good marketing for the match, but it was unnecessary to build for the match. Wait, Jesus Christ. But it was unnecessary. The build for the match has been piss poor. Okay, sorry. It was a little choppy there. So it was unnecessary. The build for the match has been piss poor. Yeah, I think overall the build for the match has been piss poor. And again, that leads into what I've been feeling for the past month, because I feel like they've been doing a piss poor job at a lot of the little build-ups that they've been doing. And I think that's where our feelings are coming from. Obviously you disagree with us on it was good marketing, because I just think it's like it's rehashing something that's been done with another elite guy, another elite member. And I understand regurgitation in wrestling, but that's something you don't regurgitate, in my opinion. It's number one, it's a year fresh, and number two, you're painting yourself into a corner you're just gonna have to erase down the line anyway. Yeah. So why even do it? I almost, like I said, I would have preferred that they couldn't wrestle at the pay-per-view because he was busted up. His ankle was busted up, and maybe broken ankle, whatever. You got to go to the next pay-per-view, and you have a nice little build in between all that.
And you're not only
that would have been better.
You're not only repeating the same storyline, but you're repeating it with executives of the company.
Right.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so. And if you notice, I don't know if it's just me, but Matt can't even read off a card.
No,
like he was reading cue cards. Like you could see him stopping and reading cue cards. He can't even do that right, So you're fucking giving this guy fucking right in front of his face. He don't have to memorize shit. It's right in front of his face. He can't even do that right. He can't do it naturally. He can't read it off cards. Like Matt is a fucking mess. I wish Matt would keep his mouth shut. Nick would do the talking. And I think Matt keeping his mouth shut and Nick selling the injuries, Matt shutting up, keeping his hair down, and the extra dark tan, I love it. Nick doing the talking. Nick, stop being beta with your fucking sitting and all that, though. You need to be a little more alpha in your demeanor. Kenny says they tried to hype it up as much as they could, but there's nothing they could do to build the match other than not having it and build it for another time. Which is honestly, that's what I felt would have been perfect. In my opinion, they did the leg spot. I felt that I kind of thought that was the direction they were going in. The leg spot happened. His leg, they break his leg. They can't make it to the pay-per-view. Now, I mean, that's the fucking perfect, that's some brainbusters 80s heel shit. They broke their fucking leg. Remember Dustin Rhodes broke his, I think it was Dustin Rhodes broke, the fucking, I forget who did it. The Horseman. They fucking put his hand in the limo, WCW day, early 90s, put his arm in a limo. Him and Barry were teaming, and they broke his wrist. It was like, you're building that fucking story. You break his leg. It's some heel shit. They can't make it to the pay-per-view because of that. Now, like you said, you build it for another time. You build it for the next pay-per-view, which I believe is February.
Is that the one after November? Really? It's February?
I think so. No, I think so. I think it's, yeah. I think, Revolution?
Okay.
Yeah, I think. I could be totally wrong. But, I mean, I think that would have been fucking perfect. He goes, I hope the leg comes into play and that's a quick match with FTR winning and do a proper match down the line. I'm with you there. I'm like there's a reason they did the leg, I would hope. I would have liked to have had it result more in a they can't wrestle and like you said, give some more time to build the match. They had a lot more to do building it. The build for it has been pretty sloppy. So, all right. So then we get the town hall with Jericho and Inner Circle and MJF. So I'll give you I only have a quick note.
So do I.
Okay. Literally, it says, I don't know. Some good, some bad, some funny. All leading to stupid Jericho versus MJF match. Like, which is a match that is fucking... It's just, I don't. It's just, whatever. To me, the booking of it, it's like I want to be in the Inner Circle. Do you want to be in the? I want to be. Do we want you in the Inner Circle? Now we're gonna wrestle to be in the Inner Circle. Like, I don't get that booking. It doesn't jive with me. Like, you got to wrestle me to be in the Inner Circle, And then Kenny says, don't you dare shake your head out.
I'm sorry, man. I gave up on this freaking storyline after that stupid douchebaggery Broadway show that happened the other week, man. That killed this entire story for me. That you got the two, don't get me wrong. I guess it was somewhat entertaining seeing them, with the debate. You had Bischoff involved, you had Britt Baker involved. They kind of had like a whole cast of characters with this happening, which was entertaining. But you've already ruined it for me with that stupid sequence, and now they're gonna fight. Are they gonna break out into song in the middle of their match too?
Yeah, I get MJF obviously at the end saying I'll do anything to win. He really like drove it home.
He did a good job. He did a great job with this, I think. Yeah.
He drove it home that I'll do anything to win, anything. He kept emphasizing it. So obviously there's going to be a way that they're going to do the heel face turn. No, Jesus Christ, he's already a heel. They're going to do the face turn for Jericho.
Hopefully, one would think.
Right. For some reason I was thinking double turn, but that made no sense. They're going to do somehow the face turn. I have a feeling Sammy's going to play into it more than I originally thought. I was more hoping that Santana and Ortiz would turn on Jericho and go with MJF because I'd love to see those two with him and Wardlow. That Wardlow thing might be running its course at this point too, it seems. But I was cool with Eric Bischoff, being there and doing that. That was cool to see
Yeah, his
him.
cameo was fine. I got to say that the more I see Jericho, I feel like he's reminding me more and more of 90s era Meatloaf. I don't know. His face, his hair.
But I won't.
Yeah,
Do
he's
that.
looking like Meatloaf. I don't know. It's not. He's not aging well. I'll put it that way. He's really not aging well.
He's hitting the sauce, man. You can see
He's
half the
definitely
time he's
hitting the
out there. He's
sauce,
sauced
and
up.
I think that
He's sauced up half the time he's out
yeah,
there.
and he's got to cut his hair, dude. It's like it's so funny. You know, there was a point in time where for the longest time he had his hair short. That's when he had a really great heel run actually in WWE when his hair was short. And he's got to cut it again because he, between the glittery jacket and the long hair, the open shirt, the glasses, he looks like a total, I don't know, he looks like a total douchebag. We keep saying douchebag on this show, but I don't know. It doesn't work. Like I guess it works in the sense of him being as silly as he is, but it really, I don't know. He needs to reinvent himself again.
This was all right for me. This wasn't so bad, but it wasn't good in like what I want to watch wrestling wise. But I mean, I got a kick out of some of it.
And again, MJF is entertaining.
Again, some good, some bad, some funny. You know.
Yeah.
So you got anything you want to drive home about this?
No, I mean I'm kind of with you. It's like, oh, okay, they're gonna fight for him to get into the inner circle. It's just like, it's not something I'm looking forward to, and I know that they want you to look forward to it. The whole idea of this is to make you look forward to it, but it's not doing the job because I'm not very invested in it just because of the fact that I just feel that it's become too silly.
Yeah. Kenny just fucking pointed something out. He literally had me just say fuck. I was just like under my breath like fuck. Kenny says if continuity is a thing in this pay-per-view, I hope it's a straight up match with Sammy at the Hardy compound for this match. I don't see Sammy involved in the match. So fuck, you threw a monkey wrench in that.
But again, they stuck with continuity, right. So for all you know, there's going to be a Hardy compound match, and then bloop, teleport, and he's going to show up at the event. You never know.
I mean, honestly,
I would have put it past them.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say a Hardy compound match, and then Jericho and MJF near the end, like co-main.
Right.
Might give them time, but where's the Hardy compound? Carolinas? Yes. Okay, yeah. So they're going to be in Florida. Yes. No, I don't think so. All right, man. Fuck, man. You kind of, damn, you derailed my fucking thought process.
I wouldn't put it past them though. I really wouldn't.
I hope not. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe they do it like previously. You know,
they might. I was about to say they might have a special message. This match was taped on blah blah blah, and then they could do that.
You never know. I mean, I'd be good with that. I'd be good with that. That would kind of fucking make sense.
At least then it would. Right. It would at least make sense then if they did that.
Right. All right. So let's move on. We get Team Taz answering Hobbs to answer their offer to join the team, and then they show highlights of Dark where Hobbs saves Darby from Team Taz. Obviously, I saw this in reverse, so it's he clearly came and helped Darby. And then they're still offering him, to join them.
And here again is a repetition of a story. You just had the sequence before. I want to get into your group. I'm going to wrestle you to get into your group. Are you going to join my group? I want to join your group. You want to join my group? I don't know if I want to join your group. Join my group. This is what they're doing now. They're repeating the same damn storyline. One sequence after the next. I mean, it's obviously different, but still, it's the same idea.
Right. Right. Back-to-back segments.
Back-to-back segments of you want to join my group? I want to join your group.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Believe it or not, this is the worst thing on the show for me. That. Okay. I would have thought that the town hall thing would have got me, but like I said, it was like a mixed bag for me. This match really, really baffled me. So you got Cody versus Cassidy in a lumberjack match. Okay. Now, the lumberjacks... Okay, so Dark Order is the reason they're doing a lumberjack match, okay? The whole premise of Dark Order, I would think, would be to attack Cody since he took the TNT title from Brodie. But they've been going after Orange Cassidy, I guess. But I think they were going after Cody in their first match, but then Cassidy stopped them. And now they're talking about Orange Cassidy, stop the Dark Order from going after Orange Cassidy. But I'm like, why would they go after Orange Cassidy unless they just want Cody to keep the title so Brodie Lee could slide in there and try to regain it from Cody. This was not told well. Like I just said, like I don't why is Dark Order going after Orange? Why is are they just explaining it like that, but they were going after Cody originally and now they're trying to change direction slightly. So I'm confused there. So that's a little bit of a confusing scenario. Then the whole point is to keep Dark Order out of the match by having a lumberjack match.
We talked about this last week, by the way. We said the same thing last week, and here we go.
Yes, I know. The match happened, so we're talking about it again. Now, the whole point of the lumberjack, like I just said, was to keep Dark Order out of the fucking match. So what do? You make Dark Order the lumberjacks. And you fucking have them at ringside where their whole premise is to beat up the good guy when he rolls out. You know what I mean? So, okay, there was one interesting thing in this whole match for me. I don't know, man. It just fucking aggravates me that it didn't make any sense, The whole lumberjack thing, the one spot that annoyed the fuck out of me was the superplex off the top to the outside on top of every lumberjack. Yeah. That was annoying. Okay, it's cool. Like, yeah, it's crazy to see a superplex from the out to the outside, but I mean, there's too much setup with it. I don't know. Best friends showing heel. Best friends doing a little heel on Cody. Yeah. They caught Orange Cassidy. They pushed him back up. They caught Cody. They dropped him. There was I think there was another spot where Best Friends threw a little heel in there, and then there was kind of a standoff between them and Nightmare, the Nightmare family. Yep. So it was I don't know. I don't get that. So in this match though, we get Cody like at one point he just switches directions. Like it looks like he's running one way and he just literally almost like just turns mid-run and goes in another direction so he could get tossed out on that side. It's like, man, you got to kind of set that up a little better. I know it's like it just looked bad.
It's almost like he was thinking of doing one thing and then he literally stopped in the middle and said, "Oh shit, wait, this is not the right spot."
Yeah, and started running the other way.
Yeah,
right.
I kind of feel I thought that was just simply a botch. I thought that was just simply him having a mind fart and realizing he wasn't doing the spot that he was planning, and so he just quickly changed course.
Yeah, it's like he knew he kind of needed to be thrown out of the Dark Order side.
Yeah.
So, it's like his momentum wasn't even, he was shot in and his momentum was going a totally different direction, and he just kind of runs the other way. I was like, what the fuck? Talk about a left turn. So that kind of just threw me off. Whatever. I mean, it's like something you could kind of like let go, but it's pretty blatant. So I kind of I noticed it, so I figured I'll bring it up. Now the most interesting part of this match to me was the very end. John Silver comes in. I think he gave him with a pump kick on Cassidy, and then Cassidy, did he get it? He got up and he ends up over on the face side of the Lumberjacks, and Double A hits him with the fucking shot and puts him out. And Cody gets the what the fuck did he hit him with?
Crossroads? It was the Crossroads. Yeah. Yes.
He hit him with the Crossroads and gets the pin. Now it was interesting that Double A cheated.
Yes.
There, because they've been face, and Double A's telling Cody stop fucking around during a match.
Yep.
And so that was the best part of that for me. The rest of it made no fucking sense. And let's see what Kenny said. Kenny says, the bigger pet peeve of mine in wrestling is moves performed and a crowd of wrestlers standing there like it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's like, it was cool. I'd never seen a superplex off the top to the outside. It's fucking
It
awesome.
was a cool spot. I will say it was a cool spot.
It's cool as shit, but I actually would prefer they never did it because they have to pile wrestlers together. And it's fucking stupid to me. Kenny, if I had flames, I'd throw them
It's like
on
a
you.
5-year-old playing with his wrestling figures, and let's just mash them all together.
Right. So that was, that was interesting though at the end. And then of course you got Darby being up in the top rung of the arena, looking like Sting up there.
Sting.
Little.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Little Sting action. I like that. I'm still holding out hope that Sting comes to AEW for some kind of thing,
possible.
even if it's not in ring. I'm hoping he does.
Quick aside, you heard the WWE removed his merchandise from their site.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Never know.
That's fingers crossed, because obviously that's my guy all the time. So, and I'd love him to be involved with the company that brought me back. Now we get the best friends. And okay, I'm sorry. What do you got on that lumberjack match?
No,
I apologize.
Not much else.
I didn't give you any.
I apologize. I'm gonna have to speed up a little bit just because of my timing. But I don't have much else other than most of my agreement was with you. We kind of predicted which way this was going to go, how silly it was going to feel to have Dark Order involved on the lumberjack part of it, and that kind of took me out of it, which is what I expected. And again, this is kind of the thing where I was hoping that with having Cody face Cassidy again, that maybe there would be some consequence here. Maybe you would have a switch or some sort. And it's just like, no, they had a second match and Cody wins, and okay, who's next?
That was it.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do this we'll try, because I know you got a little bit of time to get out here. So we got best friends and Miro and Kip confrontation. To me, it was stupid. I mean,
it's like everything
it
now
just
with
furthers
Miro, man. I'm sorry.
It just pushed their story forward, but it was kind of dumb. Oh, we're sorry. We want to give you a gift, and come on, man. It looks like it might be setting up Miro versus what's his name though? Jesus Christ. What's his name?
Kip?
No, Miro versus what's his name? Not Chuck. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, Trent. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, my bad. So, okay, now we'll go to the D match now. Just real quick, Skylar had emailed. This was before, as a disclaimer, this was before Dynamite.
Yeah.
So he said this is being sent before Dynamite, so this might make my comments irrelevant by the time you read this. He said, "What the hell is AEW doing with the NWA Women's title? Serena Deeb signed to AEW, defeats Thunder Rosa in NWA to gain the title, then is slated to defend it tonight on Dynamite. This utterly delegitimizes the AEW Women's title and the Women's title and Women's division as a whole. I'm guessing this is a fill-in spot for the Abaddon match that was scheduled to air, but come on, Hikaru Shida hasn't even been mentioned on Dynamite in 2 to 3 weeks. She's a damn champion, and Nyla Rose is still supposed to get the title shot. What are they doing for Full Gear? It's just poor booking and underutilization of talent they have." Of course, like I said, he sent it. He even said, "I sent this before I watched." So there was some situation that popped up, and he goes, "Maybe there is more to the AEW NWA relationship that meets the eye, and they will unify the titles at Full Gear or something. But my goodness, what a mess they've made the women's division." Okay, rant over. Sorry for the long message. Take care, Skylar. So. Okay, I had to read that before this. I wanted to get that. So we get D versus Hirsch. All right, I saw Hirsch after this match. It was a match. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was okay. I've heard people say it was a good match.
It was decent.
It was a decent match. I wouldn't say it was bad at all. So after this match. And again, I like to see Hirsch, join AEW. Deeb obviously sucks at promos. She had that promo before the match, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
In in ring like a motherfucker. And Kenny says completely agree with Skylar. So okay, so then we get the Shida promo after the match, which I love. You know me, man. I love that she gets promo work. She gets mic time yet again, whether it's a lot or a little. She's actually getting out there and able to, she says, Nyla, you want the match? You got the match. So that's, again, Skylar said he wasn't sure what was coming at Full Gear. Here's his answer. Obviously, he saw it later that night. But Nyla and, or Nia, right?
Nyla.
No, Nyla. Nyla and Shida for the title at Full Gear. Again, lackluster build.
Very much so.
They're very. I mean, Nyla hasn't even really been seen at all in. It feels like maybe once in the past 2 months to me, So very lackluster. All right, so we'll move on. But Skylar got a little bit of a closure on his complaint. Obviously not fully, because again they aren't doing that well with the women's division in general, like he mentioned. Yeah. So we get Shawn Spears versus Jobber. Shawn Spears graduating with Dynamite, and we just spoke about this last week, so it's good to see him there. And nice build with Sky after the match, bringing the feud from Dark to Dynamite.
That was nice continuity. I like the way they did that.
Yeah, which is a plus, which we spoke about with Dark.
Yes.
And obviously they'll be wrestling next week. Did you have anything to say about this, the match or the?
I love that he's now. I love that Spears is on Dynamite. I like the progression of how they did it. It was a very quick match. It was a squash, but yeah, I'm glad with how it's proceeding.
Yeah, me too. I think both of these guys are gonna do some fun stuff.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we get the main event. We get Omega versus Penta. Really solid match. Yeah. Obviously, I don't know what you expect with these guys. Anything less.
It's like the Hangman Wardlow match in the sense that they kind of it reminded me of that. It's like, well, it's hard to go wrong with these two.
Right.
It's
right.
You're gonna have you're not gonna have anything to complain about. You're not gonna have anything on Botchamania with these guys.
Yeah. So I've been a little tough on Kenny with his acting and all that shit. I love this Kenny tonight or that night. You know what I mean? I love the arrogance he played there. I thought it came off well. The beginning with the AAA title under his shirt. He's supposed to be challenging, defending that title at Triple Mania, I believe, soon. So it's kind of taunting the brothers that, hey, I'm still that champ. I took it from Phoenix.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of the title is. The AAA.
Oh.
Fuck, I can't remember.
I'm almost not sure what it's called.
And they said it too. I should have jotted it down. But so that was good. I thought Kenny really played that up. At first I was like, take the fucking shirt off, and then I realized shortly after he had something under it, and I was wondering what. So that was cool, and then okay, now the ending for me is Kenny gonna be going into the finals of this tournament compromised because Penta gave him that arm breaker at the end.
Yeah.
So will that be an excuse for him to lose the title? And maybe that's maybe that's him losing is another step in the breaking of Kenny to go full clean.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just a smokescreen. Because I think wasn't he was still selling the shoulder after the match.
Was.
So, I'm curious. I'm curious how that goes. Because it would almost be like a fucking slap in the face that he goes, I'm a singles guy. Hangman is a tag team guy, So I'm curious how that plays out. I think there could be something there.
I mean, I think either way, whether it's an excuse or not, I still say that, Hangman's going to win, and that's going to make him snap.
Okay.
I think that,
same
however,
thing. Right.
whether it's because he's hurt or even just because, right, the indignation of losing to Hangman Page, one way or another, whether there's an excuse or not, it's going to be simply the indignation of losing that's going to make him flip his shit.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Kenny says the chemistry with these two just oozed off the screen. I'm excited. I'm expecting a lot of high-profile matches with these two guys in the future. 100%.
Yep,
100%.
absolutely.
Is this their second singles match in AEW? I believe they had
I
one
think they
earlier as
had
well.
one other. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not 100%.
I'm not either,
but
I know that if it's not the second, it's more than that, because I know that they fought before. I'm just not exactly sure how much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much a show. I know you got to get out of here in a second. So real quick, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell. That helps our algorithms. We go live every Sunday at 3:05. Very rarely do we do it this late. This was one of those very rarely moments. But everything we do, uncensoredalliance.com is there. Links for everything that I could think of here. Catch us on Twitter at AEW Uncensored, one word. Email us, AEW Uncensored Podcast at gmail.com. You could catch us for love mail, hate mail, questions, comments like Skylar put today, stuff, to discuss on the show. You catch us on Facebook, AEW Uncensored Podcast. Just put it in the search. We have a page and a group. They'll both pop up. Like the page, join the group. We'd love to have you there. As far as the audio podcasts, we are on all third parties apps, so you can get us on all those. Just put in Uncensored AEW Uncensored Podcast, and it'll pop up. Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, of course, iTunes, the largest podcast app on the planet. That is key. Please review us there. 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, or the big 5 star. Give us a review, rate us, subscribe on there as well if you can. That helps. That is huge. That will help us get out to more people. As always, you want to get on the show, Skype. It's in the link. The link is in the description of the YouTube videos, and also in the link in the description of the podcasts. So catch us on Skype, and then we'll bring you on the show. And one last thing, Kenny says, terribly built pay-per-view, but has the potential to be the best in wrestling terms. Very excited for it. See you guys. I agree with you on both occasions. Terribly built, and it can be super exciting because there's a lot of great matches. And we will preview those matches, and we will give our picks and such this Friday.
Coming Friday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Same spot that we're on now, and we'll be on at that point.
That's it. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us.
Peace.
Peace.